Coruscant's summit glows bright enough to be seen from orbit. Keep going down, and the city takes something from you at every layer. Past the marble, you lose the clean air. A few thousand levels further, you lose the sky entirely. Near the very bottom, in the dark nobody has ever fully mapped, something down there gave up being human millennia ago, and now it hunts anything that still is. 1 trillion people live directly above it, and every one of them agrees on exactly one thing: whatever's down there can stay there. What does it actually take to keep 5,000 stacked cities running as one world? And what is waiting at the very bottom, underneath all of it? Coruscant wasn't built once, it was built on top of itself, city over city, for 100,000 years. No generation ever tore down the last one. In this video, we're climbing down through every level of Coruscant we know, from the marble halls where the Republic governed a galaxy, down through levels where the wildlife alone has made Sith Lords think twice, to a version of the planet almost nobody alive has ever stood on. We'll get to that surface, but first, the top. At the very top, level 5127, Coruscant's highest documented level, marble catches the last direct sunlight the planet gets, before the levels below swallow it whole. Think of Coruscant like an ecosystem turned vertical. This top layer is what a biologist would call the emergent layer, breaking through into open blue sky most of the population will never see. This is the Federal District, and for over 25,000 years, it ran the galaxy. According to the films themselves, it housed the Galactic Senate Building, the Jedi Temple, and the residential tower 500 Republica, reserved for the galaxy's most powerful beings. It was here that Padme Amidala watched democracy collapse and said it best, "So this is how liberty dies, with thunderous applause." The irony is hard to miss. The district that decided the fate of 1 trillion beings was, geographically, a rounding error. But the temple itself hid something the Jedi spent centuries trying to bury. Literally, the entire building was constructed directly over an ancient Sith shrine, sealed at a dark side Force vergence the Order could never fully purify. After the Republic fell, Palpatine turned that same buried shrine into his own private meditation chamber, hidden beneath the temple he'd just conquered, and rebuilt into his residence. His actual throne room, built inside Jedi walls, sitting on top of a Sith One. First stop going down? Cocoa Town, short for the Collective Commerce District. And according to sources, the next level down from the Federal District itself. An ordinary working district, where most residents never got closer to power than this. The air carries the smell of street food and the everyday hum of commerce. No senators, no opera boxes, just working diners, market stalls, and Dex's Diner, run by the four-armed basilisk Dex Jetster. Decades later, according to canon comics set after Return of the Jedi, this neighborhood became a war zone. After the Emperor's death at Endor, orphaned kids who knew every maintenance tunnel organized into the Ankle-Biter Brigade, sabotaging Imperial checkpoints and smuggling intel to the rebels retaking Coruscant. Here's the twist nobody expects from a diner level. When Ankle-Biter fighters broke into the Imperial Palace to assassinate the Empire's last Grand Vizier, he talked them into helping him escape instead. And that escape led straight to his surrender, ending the Galactic Civil War for good. Personally, that's a better ending to the Empire's story than anything the movies gave us. A handful of kids with nothing, succeeding where armies and Jedi couldn't. So much for the marble and the diner counters. Next stop, can't decide if it's glamorous or dangerous. Turns out, it's both. Next is U-Screw, and it's really two districts wearing one name. Technically, Open Sky still exists somewhere up there, it just never reaches this far. drowned out by advertisement banners and light panels that never switch off. Up top, Coruscant's glittering nightlife, crowned by the galaxy's Opera House, where Chancellor Palpatine once brought a young Anakin Skywalker to watch a Mon Calamari water ballet, and during the performance, told him the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise. Lower in the same district, the polish starts wearing off entirely. This was the entertainment district proper, home to the Outlander Club, a labyrinth of gambling rooms and back exits, run by a corrupt district mayor who answered to nobody. This was the level where bounty hunter Zam Wessel fled after failing to assassinate Senator Padme Amidala, where a shape-shifting chase through crowded skylanes ended quietly with a cornered kill using a Kuhun neurotoxin dart before Zam could reveal who had hired her. At its border sat a fringe zone called the POTU, short for the periphery of the U-Screw, the outer layer between the Jewel City above and the underworld below. In Legends continuity, a nearby derelict zone called the Works in the shadow of the Jedi Temple was where Darth Sidious secretly met Count Dooku throughout the Clone Wars. Keep descending past the periphery, and the last of the light disappears entirely. The air down here is heavy with toxins. The water is recycled runoff from levels above, and life is cheap enough that nobody bothers pricing it. This is level 1313. Say that number out loud to any Star Wars fan and watch something click. It's a level run by influential crime families, layered with refugees who came here with nowhere else to go. At this level, when something goes wrong, you don't hire a lawyer, you hire a bounty hunter. It's oddly famous outside the story too. In the Clone Wars episode, To Catch a Jedi, Ahsoka flees through levels 1312, 1313, and 1315, a nod, fans say, to the LucasArts game revealed in 2012 and cancelled in 2013 after Disney's shutdown of the studio. But the detail that stops people isn't the crime, and it isn't the cancelled game either. It's the sky. Entire generations have reportedly been born, lived, and died on levels like this one, without ever seeing a star, a sun, or an open horizon. Not what you expected, or is it? For them, the shining galaxy senators fight over above isn't distant. It's a myth their grandparents told them. Keep going, and even the crime families who run levels like 1313 stop having any real presence. Down here, artificial light and stale recycled air are the only luxuries civilization ever bothered to leave behind. This is the true Undercity. Pirates, gangs, and poor immigrants just trying to get by. It isn't empty of wildlife either. Duracrete slugs reportedly grow past 10 meters long in this stretch alone, and conduit worms even larger, sharing the dark with spider roaches, armored rats, and oversized hawkbats. Legends continuity names bigger things still. The Coruscanti Ogre, a semi-sentient, mutated humanoid the Empire ran a wildlife department just to contain. And the Chthon, a blind, corpse-pale humanoid that hunts by sound alone and feeds on whatever living flesh it catches, humanoid or otherwise. According to Legends sources, the more superstitious residents believe Chthons descend from ordinary humans, exiled generations ago and slowly devolved by the dark, though there's no confirmed evidence for it. If this is the kind of deep dive you're here for, hit like and subscribe. Their most famous appearance is genuinely brutal. In the 2001 novel Darth Maul, Shadowhunter, Maul is ambushed by a Chthon tribe down here and cuts down 9 of them with his lightsaber before the rest scatter. But Fons weren't what worried him. In the same novel, the group runs into a Tauzin, a creature once thought extinct, invisible to the Force, its exoskeleton close to lightsaber proof. For the only time in the book, Maul can't cut his way through it. The heroes use him as a distraction, while the galaxy's most feared assassin has to outthink, not outfight, something in the dark. Somewhere 5,000 levels above, a senator is redecorating a penthouse and has never once had to think about any of it. As horrifying as all of that is, people still survive down there. Gangs, refugees, entire communities who call it home. What's underneath isn't survivable by anyone. This is the level we mentioned at the very start, the one almost nobody has ever stood on. If level 5127 was the emergent layer, this is the forest floor, Coruscant's planetary bedrock, buried under duracrete and steel for roughly 100,000 years. Officially uninhabitable, with next to no breathable oxygen, and level 5 generally cited as the true floor of livable Coruscant. Wikipedia's own entry on the planet describes level 1 as devoid of light, abandoned, and roaming with strange creatures and monsters. Plausibly the same family of Legends predators as the Cathans and Coruscanti ogres, one level up. Even the Jedi archives, the most complete library in the galaxy, have almost nothing on record about it. Nothing on the level lying beneath their own temple. Go back far enough in Legends history, and this bedrock has an even stranger claim. The ancient homeworld of the Tong and Cell species, widely believed to be the original birthplace of humanity. It's the reason Han Solo, forced down to the planet's real surface on a job gone wrong, reportedly vowed never to do it again. Level 1 has technically changed hands, from Republic to Empire and back, for over 25,000 years. And in all that time, almost nobody has RSVP'd. The number that lands, the ground this city was built on, has had functionally 0 visitors in living memory. That's not a ranking. That's a species that paved over its own planet so completely it forgot the planet was ever there. And if you ask me, that's the most Coruscant fact in the galaxy. 5,000 levels, 1 emergent layer, 1 forest floor, and a surface almost nobody alive has ever seen.